Chad Frankie is speaking out about his mom, Ruby, and so much more. He's been going live on Twitch recently and answering questions people have about his life, feeling towards his mom, terms he's on with his dad and other siblings, talking about Pam. He's even able to crack jokes with his friends and followers about his past. If you aren't fully aware, Chad was part of the family YouTube channel 8 Passengers, where his mom and dad vlogged the lives of them and their 6 kids. The family had been called out for being extremely strict and got tons of backlash after sending Chad to a wilderness behavioral camp. He also had his bed taken away from him, which he's now cracked jokes about while on stream playing video games with his friends. Someone made a comment about why it looked like he had 2 beds in his room, and he poked fun at the time that he didn't have one at all.
I didn't have any bed. I just thought, well, when I get a bed back, I might as well just get 2 beds, you know? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's just a sofa.
Eventually, parents Ruby and Kevin joined a parenting advice counseling therapy group called Connections that ended up being essentially a cult ran by a woman named Jody Hildebrand. Ruby fell into it so deep it ruined her marriage, and she's since blamed it for leading her to actions that has gotten her sent to prison alongside Jody. Last August, Ruby and Jody were arrested, and in February, the 2 of them separately appeared in court for their sentencing. During Ruby's sentencing, her and her attorney tried to say that in the beginning when she was first arrested, she was very defensive over what she had done, but as time has passed, she's realized how horrific her actions have been, and she believes that what she's done is wrong, seemingly trying to say that she has changed and she was brainwashed by Jody, and what she had done was all as a result of that. Last month, evidence from their case was made public, and people were able to listen to phone calls Ruby and Jody both made from prison, and after hearing how Ruby was talking in the beginning after her arrest, she did not seem remorseful or seem to think that this entire thing was a big deal, and so it made it hard for people to believe that she had truly changed like she claimed that she had in her sentencing speech, just from hearing the clips of how she was talking on the phone in the beginning. And also having read what she wrote in her journals, people were just like, there's no way that you can have done this and then snap out of it. But Chad spoke about Ruby's speech on stream, stating that though he is not in contact with his mother, he did believe that her speech during her sentencing was true and that she wasn't lying in it. He thought it was a little weird how it was all said, but that she was telling the truth.
Your thoughts on Ruby's speech at her sentencing hearing? Oh, that's a great question. I really appreciate that question. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was very genuine. I thought it was a little weird. It sounded like she was receiving an Oscar or something. That she was like thanking everyone in the audience. It was a little strange and it was super long. But I've seen her growing up, and I've seen her be genuine and emotional, and what sounds real and what's not genuine. And I think that she was being very genuine in the sentencing hearing. I'm going to be honest.
Now, when Ruby was arrested, it was made clear that her husband Kevin had been living separate from her. Kevin had been living with Chad away from Ruby and their 4 kids under the age of 18 for about a year. Kevin claimed that because of this, he didn't know what Ruby and Jody were up to with the kids. People had wanted to know why Chad moved in with his dad instead of staying with Ruby at the time and what kind of happened there, and he explained that he was actually kicked out and talked about how that happened.
No, I got kicked out when I was 17. I was like 17 and a half when I got kicked out.
Hard time on getting kicked out. Honestly, what I did, I was in high school, and I had some girls over. I think it's just what any normal teenage bro does. Any teenage guy does. He has girls over. So that's kind of what I did. And then I remember once, because I was working with Jody, I felt like bad that I wasn't telling my mom that. So one like Sunday, I told my mom that on the couch, and this was when she was like very into Connections, and she got so upset and like was crying so much. She just told me that, hey, you're gonna move out next week. So, and then that's when I moved out with my dad. So me and my dad moved out together, but he didn't move out. He didn't leave. My mom kicked him out. That's how it went.
Chad talked about his relationship with his dad, saying that he still lives with him now, but they've since moved back into the 8 Passengers house that all of the vlogs had been filmed in. He didn't want to talk about his younger siblings, but in terms of his dad, he said that they are close, and he is also close with Sherry.
Do I still speak with my parents? I live with my dad right now. So this is my dad's home. This is the home that was in all the 8 Passengers videos. So yes, me and my dad are very, very close, including Sherry.
Last he talked about on stream was that him and his girlfriend went apartment hunting with his friend Jeremy, and he thought that he had found a place, so it seems like he is going to be moving out soon. He also answered a question about how things have been between him and his dad since Ruby's arrest.
How's you and your dad relationship going since the arrest? It's 10 times better. He's a lot different and I'm a lot different. I think we're all a lot different.
Chad also wanted to say that his dad does not support Ruby anymore, as people have been skeptical about how Kevin really feels about all of this, but Chad claims that he doesn't.
Does your dad support Ruby? No, he does not. At first us kids did, including him, but after we learned more details, more and more we realized that we are not in support, so.
Chad also opened up about how everything happened last year, saying that he was in denial at first. He didn't want to believe the news to be true about his mom, and he talked about how he too was brainwashed to a degree.
No, because I honestly believe that it was like the right thing. You guys gotta I don't think anyone really understands the brainwash behind it. Everything my mom taught I thought was true up until a couple weeks after the arrest. So that's just how it was, and I think that's how it was for everyone.
He said he's currently in therapy, which he didn't fully trust in the beginning, just given that Jody had been his therapist and she is in prison now.
It's been great. I honestly had a hard time getting into it at first because, honestly, clearly having my last therapist not be in prison, that's kind of... I had some trust issues there getting back into it, but I love what I do now. It's great.
Chad is able to poke fun at the situation with his mom, Ruby, and laugh at what's happened, which people have commented in the chat online saying that they're happy to see that he is in a good place enough to be able to say some of the things that he is. He at one point on stream was singing the song Low by Flo Rida, which if you have followed along in this Ruby Frankie story for a long while now, you might remember how at one point in time, Ruby went viral for crying in a video on YouTube because her daughter's dance teacher was going to have the students do a fun little dance at school, and a little part of the mashup song that she used included a part of Low by Flo Rida, and Ruby thought it was super inappropriate. She went to the principal and then the school board, and she was bawling her eyes out in this YouTube video, horrified that this song was being used because she thought that it was just not living in truth to have this song play, and it's just teaching distortion and all these things. And now Chad was just singing it on stream, laughing.
Hey, hear me out. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. Someone asked. I'm gonna do distortion. Sorry. I know it's pretty distorted for me to sing that song. My bad.
Chad also talked about how he was kind of taking the power back from Ruby and Jody by asking his chat to comment words like truth and distortion in the chat, since those were the words that Jody and Ruby just drilled into people's heads.
Before we hop off, can we all get a distortion and truth in the chat? Let's see how many distortions we can get and how many truths we can get, okay? Everyone, 3, 2, 1, distortion, truth. Here, I'll comment it with you. Truth, distortion. Perfect. This is perfect, guys. I love how Jody claimed these 2 words, but now I gotta claim these words. This is so funny. Oh, I love this. Truth, distortion.
Chad's friends also seemed to joke with him about everything as they were making jokes about him not having a mom, and Chad asked his friend's mom to be his mom.
Dad, do you want to say hi to my mom, considering you don't have one?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hi, Mom. Can you be my mom?
He said hi. He said, can you be my mom?
Chad on stream was also talking about how he thinks that Jody Hildebrandt is a lesbian.
Jody's a lesbian? Yeah, I do. I honestly do. That's my personal opinion. She never, ever came out and said that she was lesbian, but I think based off of hers and my mom's behavior, I agree.
Chad was also asked about his opinion on Pam Botcher, who, if you don't remember, she is the 3rd member of Connections with Ruby and Jody. She was not arrested, but she was a part of the Connections group, and when Ruby spent a lot of time at Jody's house, it seemed that Ruby had her 2 middle daughters spending time at Pam's house. Chad revealed in his stream that he thinks Pam needs to be investigated more.
Thoughts on Pam? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest.
I am shocked they have not done more investigating on her. She was the president of Connections. And right now she's honestly just like in hiding, if that makes sense. So I don't know if she knew, I'm gonna be honest. No idea if she knew. No idea. But I think they should do a little more investigating on that.
Chad also at one point revealed that in all of this, where he and his dad were kicked out, Ruby also gave away their family dog, which honestly I can't even be surprised about that this is something that Ruby did. I feel like in a lot of her actions, she's just very heartless, and for her to just give their dog away that she seemingly at one point really loved, I'm not even surprised. Overall though, Chad talked about how he thinks it's good for him to be streaming and talking about things that happen. He says that, you know, he's in contact with his aunts and his uncles, and he's obviously talking to Sherry, and he's just thinking it's important for him to get his side out there. He seems to be good and willing to open up about, you know, even the hard things. And I'm just happy that he seems like he's in this good place. He says that Sherry is more private, which he respects along with his other siblings' privacy, but people are just overall happy to hear all of this from him and how he's doing. So that's what Chad revealed in his recent streams. I will let you guys know if anything else comes out about all of this. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys.